But I am so encouraged by you moms, you new moms, you moms that maybe are on your second child, but they're all under 4. And even the older moms that you just invest so much in your kids. So the question or the topic I want to talk about is pre-K. Is it necessary? Let me separate the two. One, sometimes parents, both of you have to work. So just make sure your child's in a great learning environment and that their needs are being cared for and that they're feeling secure in love. If ever you get this feeling that something's not right, go on your instinct. There's plenty of places to take them. But also have a good relationship with the provider. And most providers want to be able to share your child's day. So that's a big thing. You sometimes don't get a choice. But if you're a mom that's staying home, embrace the time. Embrace it because it's never coming back. And this time you are the first teacher of your child. And don't let anyone ever tell you differently. Even if your child is going to pre-K, you are the first teacher. You have taught them that when they cry, you're going to meet their needs. You have taught them that if they need a kiss or a hug, you will be the one they want to go to. Every child connects to one specific person, and that is so important in development. As a foster parent, it's hard to see that child that's detached from people because of the world that they've been given. But that even can be undone. So I've seen it. I've got great foster moms or adopted moms that are working really hard to undo a lot of the things that happened in a child's life those first few years. But it can happen. But take this time and really, really enjoy your moment, because your child isn't going to be 0 to 4 or even 5. I would even say 5, 0 to 5 for very long. It's 5 years and it goes by so fast. But what I'm encouraged by is I see parents taking their kids to the library, taking their kids to the zoo, taking them and letting them experience things. And you know, being a pre-K teacher, the most important thing that I did to set up the room was to make sure that they could freely move about. I was in one pre-K where worksheets was the whole thing, and it just killed me, and I didn't do so well. The most important thing in that class was it was 4 boys. Some of you had kids with me. And we played with this pink pig, and we would build a fort, and somebody had to protect the pink pig, which was usually me, and this pig would attack the fort, and the kids would laugh, and we would build it again, and then we had little soldiers. But these boys couldn't share, and they couldn't get along, and so it was more important to me that they could do that. And so we did a lot of physical things. With boys, you do need to be more physical because they can't sit and read a book like a little girl can. Most boys don't. There are exceptions to every rule. But they wanted to go outside and run, so we did a lot of races, and we did a lot of learning who could be first to who could be second, and these were the learning things I'm talking about. Those worksheet things, let me just tell you, it's mostly rote learning, so ABCs and numbers are like a song. And when you have ever sung a song to a child, you see that eventually they forget it if you don't sing it to them over and over again. So it was more about teaching them to be prepared for kindergarten. And I did a lot of asking kindergarten parents if what they would, or kindergarten teachers and even parents of kindergartners, what was the most important skill? And the teachers would say they can sit, they can listen, and they can share. And those were the most important things. In my pre-K class, because we used centers and we were moving all the time, we made our own books. And so we would take a subject and we would talk about spring. Then we would go outside and investigate spring. And then we would take a piece of paper and we would make our own books. And then the kids would read those books. And they are reading. They're reading the cues from the pictures. And that's a very important part. It's pre-reading and it's very important for them to do. And they also take great pride in the fact that they made the book. The second one I did was I put a smiley face on their big toe, and we looked at the world in the perspective of our big toe, and then we made a picture, and then we created a book. And you can make them little, you can make them the size of a heart. We did that for Valentine's Day. You teach them about loving everybody and how everyone wants to have Valentines. So they all brought Miss Divine Valentines, and we put them in the book. So important. They would take the book out when they would get to the library time, and they would read those books. They were so precious and dear to the kids and to me as well. But we would walk around with the little smiley faces on our toes, and they got to feel the grass. Obviously it wasn't winter. They got to feel the grass. They got to, in the morning when the dew was on the grass, then we would look real close and we'd see an ant or something like that. And that was teaching them. If you're taking your kids out and you're teaching them through, their senses, tasting, touching, smell, hearing things, those things begin to develop what we call dendrites in the brain. And the dendrites are like the map that we have in our brain. And the dendrites connect into the major parts of our brain. And most kids have the window of 0 to about 8 to develop their dendrites. In cases of kids who don't have great experience in their early years, you can do things to repair that by giving them experiences. When I was in Africa in one of the compounds, which is like just a small community, I realized that the kids didn't even have books. So their world was very small. It was within the walls of the compound. It was not even into their country and into the world. It was just their compound, and how important books are to kids. So when I see you with your kids opening those books, I can tell you, you are opening the world to them. When you're taking them places and experiencing things outside the home with them, you are teaching them. Pre-K is important for those basic skills, but you are the first teacher. Never forget that. And I just think that you need to just give yourselves high fives because you're doing a great job. You can teach them math by sharing different things. I would say too, your grandparents, the grandparents of your babies are so important to your kids' development. Grandparents bring something into the kids' lives that you as parents can't necessarily do. We're not busy cleaning and doing all the things that we need to do to keep a home because at the time we have the kids, that is the focus of a grandparent. I'm not a grandparent yet, but I will be one day. But I have foster grandbabies somewhere and I just love them and miss them. But we have that ability to just focus in on those kids. Don't send your kids with a bunch of rules because they're going to be broken, but also because the natural process of being with that grandparent, they're going to pick up so many things. My girls spent so much time with their grandmothers and grandfathers, And that was just a huge blessing to them. And to this day, it's a bond that no one else can fill. So take time and go away and allow your grandparents to be the ones to help with your kids. Another thing is get together with a group of young moms and step away. Just have coffee, watch the kids play, supervise, but don't intervene. Allow them to problem solve, allow them to learn social skills. You need to be close by because you don't want one chewing an arm off of another one, but you don't need to be on top of them. It's important that they learn how to problem solve. You know, we tend to now want to hover over, and I think it's just because we have so many distractions in our life that then when we have our kids with us, we feel a tinge of guilt that maybe we're not focusing enough. So then some people overcompensate and you become that helicopter parent that is over your child all the time. They're going to fall. They need to be able to get up and wipe themselves off. You know, if they have a little bobo, a Band-Aid isn't needed every moment that they fall. They just like the pretty Band-Aids anyway. So just put them on there if they wanted. Give them times that they have dress-up time, that they just play through their imagination, and you're just close enough to supervise. And then slowly give them responsibilities, whether it's helping you clean. And honestly, from 0 to about 5, maybe up to 8, they are most willing to help you. After that, then it's a lot of grumbling anyway. But give them those opportunities to help you out and just love on them. And your experiences going to the zoo, the library, conversations you're having with them, baking with them, laughing with them, reading a story at night is so great to decompress a child. Sometimes the day has been overstimulating. Maybe it was a bad day for them. And sitting down and reading a story kind of just helps them just let the weight of the world come off of them and then allows them to be able to then sleep well. And it's the most precious time in the day that you're going to have with them because you get to share how your day went and they get to share with you and be open and honest with you. If you are worried you're not doing a good job, chances are you're doing a good job. If you can't afford daycare, pre-K, you just do the things that I said and just become your child's best teacher. If you are taking them to pre-K or daycare, just make sure that that relationship is a healthy one with the teacher. And as a former teacher, I can tell you that we do want your child to have the best day that's possible. And sometimes there's hard stuff that we have to talk about. And so that relationship being built in a healthy way is going to help you out as you go on with the daycare experience. I had some great parents, still have them, still can see their children from back when I was 19 years old. And in fact, one of them helped me when I was having my first child, and I watched her child when she was having her second child, and we became great friends. But that trust relationship was there. And if you've got to do daycare, don't feel guilty about it. Just take those opportunities that you have outside of the day and just love on them. Moms, you're doing great. You're awesome. And may God bless you, and may you just continue to question and find the answers. And most of the time, you're just doing it in natural instinct anyway. So have a great day. God bless.